have to think about this. It's a tricky question. I do regret buying that. Hello, creative friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today is something a little bit different. To celebrate hitting 30,000 subscribers on the channel, I asked you to send me in your questions. And you sure did. 30,000. Wow. I was expecting crafty questions, and there are plenty of those, but you also asked me about my faith, my camera setup, my wardrobe, and even my travel plans. You also asked me about the most overrated craft supplies I've ever bought, so I'll share those too. I love that you asked so many great questions. So today I'm doing a proper Q&A, the very first on the channel, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get straight on into it. Question number 1 is, have you ever been to the US or do you plan to visit? So yes, actually, I have visited the US just the once. We went on a family holiday. We went to LA, Las Vegas, Big Bear Lake, and Disney in Anaheim. But it was such a rushed trip. I wanted to try and do so much in the very short time we were there that I actually did not get to do very much shopping at all, and I didn't go to any craft stores whatsoever. Looking back, I can't believe it now. I didn't go to Hobby Lobby, I didn't go to Michael's, and in fact, we were very, very close to the Prima warehouse, and we didn't even have time to get to go to that. I so wish I would have done a lot more shopping, and I do hope to come back one day. I'm just not sure when. Question number 2 is, I love your dresses. Where do you get them from? So these dresses, the ones I wear in all of my videos, they all come from Karma East, and they are an Australian brand. I have maybe 4 or 5 of them that are all in the same style, but just in a different print. They are so comfortable to wear and I love them. I have taken the time to link everything from my dresses to my glasses, my perfume, and my skincare routine, all to my Shop My. So if you're interested in that stuff, there is a link for that below. Question 3, cats or dogs? Definitely cats. And if you agree, press the like button like a sticker to a scrapbook. If you are new here and somehow this Q&A is your very first video, hello and welcome. I usually share here paper crafting tutorials and test an awful lot of craft supplies, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Question 4, what's your newest tool and what are you thinking about getting? Okay, so WeRMakers recently sent me a huge haul of tools. There was a giant box full of things, and my favorite out of that is actually the stapler. It's so simple, but super, super handy. It allows you to staple anywhere on a project, so any size paper. So I do really, really love that. Then there are the mini die cutting machines. I have bought 4 of those in the last month because I'm partway through my latest mini series, which is testing mini die cutting machines. So I plan to keep buying them, buy a bunch of them, and I'm testing them and then ranking them. So yes, that's what I have purchased most recently. 4 new mini die cutting machines. I've also just bought the Sizzix magnetic craft stand. It is a magnetic holder for dies. Super simple and super handy. I do love that as well. In terms of tools I'm thinking about getting, the Ultinew stamp wheel. I really would like to try that and test that out. And then anything really from WeRMakers, any of their new punch boards or tools, I always find them really, really interesting, and I'm always on the lookout for those. Question 5, what is the secret to using Maggie Holmes dies? Now, I'm not sure what this question means actually, because I don't have any issues using mine at all. I'm not sure if you're having problems putting them together or running them through your die cutting machine, but I do have a video, hacks for working with die cutting. So I'm hoping maybe something in that video will help. And of course, I'll link that below. Question number 6, would you ever try other types of crafts? Yes, I have tried a little bit of slow stitching and I've really enjoyed it. I wish I had a lot more time to do that actually. And then the other craft is collage. There are these things called glue books. And what you do is you harvest images and colors from magazines and junk mail, and then you collage them and put them together to create pretty designs in the glue book. It's really just collage, but it looks like so much fun. There's one more thing, and that is watercoloring. I am obsessed with the idea of watercoloring. I have all of the supplies, several palettes, the paper and the brushes, and I would really love to take the time to do some watercolor classes and learn how to do it properly. I have these visions of beautiful watercolor florals, and I would love to be able to paint those. Now, because the channel is a paper crafting channel, I'm not sure you'll see any of that shared here, maybe the collage. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see my first attempts at glue booking. Question number 7. If you could design any piece of craft storage, what would it be? I have kind of already done this. There is a shelf in my craft room here that I designed to help me manage stacked boxes. So there are these 13-inch by 13-inch boxes that I use to store a lot of my full sheets of scrapbook paper. They're really heavy and it drove me mad. Whenever I needed to access one of the bottom boxes, I would have to restack all of them to get to that box that I wanted to get to. And inevitably, I always needed to get to the bottom ones. So annoying. So I took the boxes to a cabinet maker and I asked him to build me like a shell, like a box, that the boxes could slide on into so that they would all be independent of each other. So I can slide out the bottom one without having to move those top ones. At the time, I did think it was a little bit extra. It was a little bit expensive, but it has been the best investment ever for this craft space, and I've been able to take that shelf now into 3 houses. So it has moved with me and I love it. Question 8, what do you do with the supplies you no longer want, and how often do you go through your stash? Okay, I could make 10 videos about destashing. I have lots to say about it. For me, destashing is actually an ongoing process. It's not something that you do in one giant chunk and then not have to do moving forward. I actually do it all of the time, even while I'm creating. So if I'm working on a project and I'm flipping through ephemera and I notice something that is really not my style, if I see an embellishment that is giant that I know I won't use, I actually destash that single embellishment then and there. If I go to use some paint or some glue and it's a little bit dried up and I notice that, I just throw it away then and there. In terms of larger destashes, I will do those in chunks, maybe in sections. So I might pull out a single drawer from my stash and just go through it and pull out and see if there's anything that needs to be donated or given away. So I might do that drawer by drawer for a bit. Sometimes I will do it based on theme. So we are doing Christmas in July. I am making some projects for that. So I have pulled out a lot of my Christmas stash and I'm going through that and making sure that the supplies that I keep here are only the supplies that I love. I actually get overwhelmed really easily, and I have learned that having fewer supplies actually helps me to be more creative. I don't have that decision fatigue that I get when I have so many things. So I'm always looking for the supplies that I know I won't use, and I'm getting rid of them. If you struggle a little bit with destashing and organizing, I do have quite a few resources now, and I'll link those all below for you, including the free PDF that is a stash busting bingo. There's a free PDF for Craft Room Reset, and then there's also a couple of workbooks that I've created. One, there's actually, I think, a course too for creating in a small space. So I'll gather those together and link them below. Oh, and I did not tell you what I do with them. Sometimes I just throw things away. Just throw it in the bin. I know, but it's not because I'm just wasteful. It's because that's where it should go. If anything is old or random or just not good, I will throw it away. If it's something that is good, that I think does have value and someone would want, I will donate it maybe to a nursing home, a church group, childcare centre, and sometimes I package up things and I use them as giveaways, and they go to viewers and listeners like you. I did that with the mystery boxes. There was so many things in those boxes. I knew I wasn't going to use them all, but they were still really good. So yes, I did that for those, and yet generally they would go to a church group. But please don't be afraid or feel guilty about throwing things away. It's totally okay, I promise. On to question number 9. What inspires you? So many things, and mostly it's the ordinary everyday things. It might be a pretty print or a color palette on a dress that I walk by in a shop. It might be a new tool or supply. Sometimes it's even a photo. In fact, the July video for my patrons, that layout is inspired entirely by the photo. I'm also really inspired by shares from the community. It might be a YouTube video or a share on a community post. There's always little things that I see that inspire me. I take note of all of them because sometimes the tiniest of ideas can grow into something really fun. Question number 10. Would you ever share more about your faith? This is such a beautiful question, and I love how it was asked. Faith for me is something that I hold quietly. I don't think it's something you need to shout from the rooftops or force on anyone. I think it shows up really quietly in the way you treat people. For me, that looks like integrity, kindness, and being generous with my time, and crafting is an extension of that. Creating a card for someone who's going through a rough time, or just a random card that says, thinking of you. That for me is a natural extension of my faith. It all feels very aligned to me. My faith truly is at the heart of everything that I do, but it's not always relevant to talk about it directly. I work super hard for the channel to be an uplifting and encouraging place for everyone, no matter what their beliefs. If you love paper, you're welcome here. Question 11, show us behind the scenes. What camera, mic, and lighting do you use? I love that you're curious about this one. My setup is very simple actually. I have 2 soft light boxes, so one on either side. And then when I'm recording crafty projects on my desk, I just lower them and sort of move them in a little bit. And then for my microphone, I have this lav mic. It is directly connected to my phone, which is recording via that cable. The reality is you don't need a lot at all to start creating videos. And if you had a room with really good lighting, you probably wouldn't even need the soft boxes. Just your phone, that's it. If you do want to see the exact products that I use, I do have those linked, and I'll leave that in the description as well. There's so many things in the description box today. Question number 12. Top 10 overrated supplies you wish you never bought. Top 10. I have to think about this. That's a tricky question. I don't think I have 10. There is one that comes to mind straight away, and that is the WeRMakers foil quill. It was an accessory for my silhouette machine. It was supposed to draw designs in like a foiling or something. I never opened the box and I never used it, and then I gave it away. I do regret buying that. The other thing was the Heidi Swap foil mink machine. I think it was called a mink machine foiling. Essentially, it was a laminator that you could put, you had to print on a special ink, or you could buy designs that were printed on a special ink, and then you would lay the foil over it and run it through the laminator. I don't know, it just felt like a lot of work. It was only those specific designs with that specific paper, with that specific foil. I don't know. I ended up donating that in one of the house moves. I did get rid of a lot of stuff when we moved into this house because it was going to be a downsize, and I knew that. Maybe I just don't like foiling things. There is one thing that I wish I'd bought sooner though, and that's the WeRMakers cinch machine. I had been meaning to buy one of those for years, and WeRMakers sent me one. So lucky. And I love that thing. I have already used that so much. I wish I'd bought that sooner. Question 13. How long does it take you to make one of your videos? Much longer than you would think. It's actually a lot of work coming up with the idea, planning the video out, then recording it, creating the thumbnail that you see on YouTube, adding in the links and the description. The whole process takes between 10 to 15 hours per video. Generally speaking, there's around 8 hours in just the editing part, and I do it all. When I started the channel, I really wanted to make videos that I would want to watch on YouTube, and lots of those videos weren't being made. So I work really hard, but it's worth it because I know how much you enjoy the videos. And here we are at 30,000 subscribers. So yes, an awful lot of work goes into every single one of them, but it's totally worth it because I know how much you enjoy them. Question 14, do you do this full time? Yes, this is my full-time job. Fun fact, Created by Gwen actually started before YouTube. So it was a side hustle to start with, where I was creating SVG designs for Silhouette and Cricut, and I still do that. I still have that website and I still sell those designs, but it's really not my focus. Things kind of grew from the YouTube channel. Initially, I was just putting tutorials, how to use the SVG designs on scrapbook layouts, and things sort of grew from there. Eventually, YouTube became my main focus and my full-time work. So whenever you watch a video, like or subscribe, or click on one of the links I share, you're helping directly to support my family. You are putting food on our table. They might seem like really small things, but when we do them together, they really do add up, and they help me so much. I work super hard to make videos, but it is so worth it, and it is a dream job, one that I know I wouldn't have without you. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much to everyone who sent questions in. I am truly the luckiest girl in the world to be able to do this, and I'm so grateful for you for helping make that happen. I love that you asked the big questions about faith, creativity, and behind the scenes, and not just what's your favorite glue to use. If you do have a question I didn't answer, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Now, if you are wondering what glue do I use, be sure to watch this video next. I tested 14 different glues to find the very best one for paper crafters. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. I'll see you again really soon. Until then, bye.